Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I would briefly introduce Maharaj. That actually Maharaj is the glorious disciple of His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj. All of you can be seated. So we are so fortunate that Maharaj is here among us, and Maharaj is right now, he's more than 80 years. Maharaj ka age hai, but still he is so enthusiastic, so extensively traveling, preaching, inspiring devotees around the world. Actually, Maharaj is basically from Argentina. However, he is from Italian speaking family, so he has preached a lot in Italy. And apart from that, from more than past 20-25 years, Maharaj has been extensively preaching all over the world in more than 72 countries. And Maharaj is also associated with Padayatra, extensively traveling in Padayatra. So he's here today. So we are so grateful to Maharaj. So let's extend our gratefulness to Maharaj and also welcome him from the core of our heart by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Holiness Rupa Raghunatha Swami Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Balavam Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Vraja Jana Rajana Yamuna Tiro Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Vraja Jana Rajana Yamuna Tira Vanacharim Yamuna Tiro Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Vraja Jana Rajana Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatiro vanachari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrindavan Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindavan Bolo Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrindavan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Chayam Mudirayat Se Chaitanya Manovistan Stapitayana Bhutale Svayan Rupa Kadamayam Dadatyeva Padamtikam Vandeham Sri Guru Syuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrahatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavandhu Chagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Brisavanu Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Panchakalpa Taruvya Chakripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, Text 16. That I will read. Someone will translate or not? Everybody understand English? I don't think so. Someone can sit there with those who don't understand English and translate. No? It's an idea. Hare Krishna. Chapter 24, the renunciation of Kardama Muni. I will start to read from the beginning, just the translation, to follow the argument. Text 1. Recalling the word of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhu Manu, praiseworthy doctor, the Vahuti, who was speaking word full of renunciation.
हरे कृष्णा. जिनको इंग्लिश समझ नहीं आती वो पीछे जा सकते हैं. हरिनामन प्रभु हैं, वो ट्रांसलेट कर देंगे हिंदी में.
The all qualities of Srila Prabhupada, the all qualities of Krishna, the Srila Prabhupada, he preferred the renunciation. And he gives example of renunciation. He make remember the temple of Ranchor. The temple of Ranchor is in Dakor. Dakor is one city of Gujarat. And there is one temple of Ranchor. Ranchor is who renounce. Ranchor she. And Srila Prabhupada make remember this temple. Because Ranchorji, he was in Dwarka, was the Murti of Dwarka. And there was one devotee, ancient devotee, he go every year on foot, he walk from Dakor to Dwarka to see the Lord. And he spent 3 months to reach there. And after come back on foot. Every year do that. But one time he reached in Dwarka and he speak with Dwarkadish. And he say, I am too old now, I cannot do any more that. I cannot come every year from Dakor to here. So this is my last time I come here. And the Lord say for him, no, come one more time. But don't come on foot, come in the chariot, on bull car. And when you go back again, I will go with you. I don't want to stay anymore here in Dwarka. Here the Brahmanas, he always are concentrating money. I don't want to stay anymore here. So the devotee, next year, he came in a bull car. And after darshan, when he was ready to go back, he saw at night, behind was sitting, there was Dwarkadish. So he go back to Dakor with the Murti there. So in the next morning, in Dwarka, the pujari go to arrange everything for puja, and then saw the ranchor, Dwarkadish renounced. he was not there. So there was a very big confusion in Dwarka, because in Dwarka there is all the Brahmanas and family the Brahma. Everybody take care of this Murti. The Lord go away. That was the news. So there was big confusion. But on the same time, there in Dakor, in Dakor there is one talao. In the center of the talao there, on the morning people see there is something in the middle of the lake. And what is that? So then go to see, and there was in the middle, in the center of the lake was the Murti of Dwarka, who renounced. He renounced. Was there in the center of the lake. So there was also big confusion. What is that? What you do? So then say the people say we have to bring back. It's the Murti of Dwarka. We must to bring back. But there was one Brahmana, and he said, no, he come here, we cannot bring back. He want to stay here. So what we have to do now, we have to construct one temple for him. And then construct the temple of Ranchor. Until now is there. Very, very beautiful Murti with the eyes, very beautiful. And Srila Prabhupada remember this past time. Because for Prabhupada, the all qualities of Krishna, who more attractive is the renounce. He like that. And everyone in this life, when then reach for any circumstance, he must to renounce of something, will understand how it's nice to renounce. Sometimes people have difficulty to renounce because there is attachment. Even for some dressing, even for something. When one take habit, after it's difficult to leave that, to detach it. And renounce means then detachment. So we are here in the text 3. You have undertaken sacred vow, God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observance, austerities, and give of your money in charity. That is Dharma, Artha, Kama, to have moksha. This is the Vedic process. Text 4. The personality of Godhead be worshipped by you, will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teach knowledge of Brahman. Text 5. Sri Maitreya said Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful toward the direction of her husband, Kardama, who was one of the Prajapati, or generator of human being in the universe. O great sage, she thus begin to worship the master of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart. Text 6. After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire came from wood in a sacrifice. Text 7. At the time of his descent on earth, demigod in the form of raining cloud sounded musical instrument in the sky. The celestial musician, the Gandharvas, sung the glories of the Lord. With celestial dancing girl, Noah Apsaras, danced in joyful ecstasy. Text 8. At the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigod flying freely in the sky sower flowers, all the direction, all the water, and everyone's mind become very satisfied. Text 9. Brahma, the firstborn living being, went along with Marichi and other sages to the place of Kardama Hermitage, which was surrendered by the river Saraswati. Text 10. Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is always independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his quality of pure existence had appeared in the womb of the Devahuti just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is the analytic study of material energy and spiritual energy. Text 11. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladness, sense, and a pure heart for his intended activity as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti. Lord Rama say, "My dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instruction without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instruction you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me." Text 13. Song out the rendered service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, "Yes, sir." It's not easy in Kali Yuga to say, "Yes, sir." Because the mind make always the personal program, and the false ego push also. Not everybody are ready to surrender. "Yes, sir." Text 40. Lord Rama then praised Kardama Muni, ninth doctor, saying, "All your distinguished doctors are certainly very just. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendant in various ways." Text 15. Therefore, today please give away your doctor to the foremost of the sage, with due regard for the girl temperament and liking, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe. Text 16. We start by the word in Sanskrit. If you want to repeat it, Veda Aham Adyam Purusham Avartinam Svamayaya Bhutanam Sevadim Deham Vibranam Kapilam Muni Vedam Adyam Purusham Vedaham Adyam Purusham Avatina Svamayaya Bhutanam Sevadim Deham Vibranam Kapilam Mune Vedaham Adyam Purusham Avartinam Svamayaya Bhutanam Sevadim Deham Vibranam Kapilam Mune Vedaham Adyam Purusham Avartinam Svamayaya Bhutanam Svadim Deham Vibranam Kapilam Mune. Someone want to read? Someone else? Mataji, want to read? Someone else? Veda? No. Aham. I. Adyam. The original. Purusham. Enjoyer. Avatirnam. Incarnate. Svamayaya. By his own internal energy. Bhutanam. Of all the living entity. Sevadim, the bestower of all desire, who is just like a vast treasure. Deham, the body. Vibranam, assuming. Kapilam, Kapila Muni. Mune, O sage Kardama. We read translation of purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by His internal energy. He is the bestower of all desired by the living entity, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni. Purport. In this verse we find the word Purusham, Avatirnam, Svamayaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is everlastingly, eternally the form of Purusha, the predominator of enjoyer. And when he appeared, he never accepted anything of this material energy. The spiritual world is a manifestation of his personal internal potency. The spiritual world is a manifestation of his personal internal potency, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his material or differentiated energy. The word Svamayaya, by his own internal potency, indicate that whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, he comes in his own energy. He may assume the body of a human being, but that body is not material. In Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is clearly stated the only false and rascal Mudas considered the body of Krishna to be the body of a common human being. The word Sevadim means that he is the original bestower of all the necessity of life upon the living entity. That means he gives for everyone according what everyone deserved. Hmm? We have so many examples. Sometimes someone becomes sick and say, why God do that? No? But in reality, he's also Guneshwar, the master of the three gunas. And he gives for everyone what everyone deserved. Hmm? One devotee becomes more learned than other devotees, for example. He gives for someone some part of knowledge and another part of knowledge for another one. And everything this, he never mistake. He gives for everyone what everyone deserved. So everyone must to be satisfied. If he get good health, if he get knowledge, no knowledge, everyone must to be satisfied. It's no question to complain. Why? Why, Lord, give me that? He satisfied all desire. So we must take care with our desire. Because in the subtle, very deep on the subtle, there is sometimes the material desires. And he gives for everyone what everyone deserves. In the Vedas also, it is stated that he is the chief living entity and that he bestows all the desire necessity of other living entity. Because he is the bestower of the necessity of all other. He is called God. The Supreme is also a living entity. He is not impersonal. As we are individual, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also individual. But he is the Supreme Individual. That is the difference between God and the ordinary living entities. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So from the beginning, Kapila Deva, he gave instruction for his mother. Many times devotees ask me about, because in one moment in the chapter, in the canto 27, 19, Devahuti asked Kapila Deva about someone have there the 327. Ense, she say, Ense, even though he is the passive performer of all activity. This is the point, thank you. Yeah, she asked about passive performer. Many times devotees ask question about this because passive performer is completely opposite. Passive performer. Passive because the soul in conditioned state, she do nothing. And one of the first things we learn when we start to read Bhagavad Gita, we are soul. We are soul. And we repeated that for others. We are nobody, we are soul. Yeah. But one day you read what she said. Devahuti. And they speak about passive performer. So the soul in conditional state, passive because the soul do nothing. And performer because it's the impetus of the activity. And their devotees sometimes get difficulty to understand this point. Passive performer. Because for many, many years, from children age, we repeated, I do, can I do, I will do, and we are convinced we do. But the body act, the body do. The soul do nothing. Last time also, one time I've been here and we spoke about this, and many devotees asked question about, because it was difficulty to understand. The soul do nothing. And that is in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained that in the chapter 13, text 30, 1330. Someone can read?
प्रकृति च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वश ये पश्यति तथात्मानं अकर्तारं स पश्यति. Translation: one who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees.
Who understand this point, he really understand. But many people have difficulty to understand that. I am soul, I do nothing. But it's important to understand this point. Otherwise we will continue all the rest of life to say, I do that, I do that. I do nothing. I am soul, the soul do nothing. It's everything the mercy of the Lord. And when we realize this point, we appreciate all instant of our lives, because we get permanently, we get the mercy of the Lord. Permanently, everything is the mercy of the Lord. And after two slok, Krishna touched again the same argument.
Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the mode of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled.
Yeah. Even if Prabhupada, because there is in the purport, in the 327:19, we read before, passive performer, and the purport, Srila Prabhupada also, he say, we think we do that and that and that, but in reality, the soul do nothing. And can you read purport Srila Prabhupada? What his Prabhupada say?
Prabhupada says, although the living entity desires freedom from the contamination of matter, he is not given release. Actually, as soon as a living entity puts himself under the control of the modes of material nature, his acts are influenced by the qualities of material nature, and he becomes passive. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasa 3.27. The living entity acts according to the qualities or modes of material nature. he falsely thinks that he is acting, but unfortunately he is passive.
Yes. Yes. He think I do that, but it's do nothing. The soul do nothing. And that is important to understand that. Because if we think always I do that, we forget our God. We forget it. I constructed one temple. I do many years padayatra. No, it's not really. It's not really. The soul do nothing. It's always the mercy of the Lord. Everything is the mercy of the Lord. Everything what appear in our perception is the mercy of the Lord. If in the perception is good thing or bad thing, is always the mercy of the Lord. He never mistake. He give for everyone what everyone deserves. So when we realize at this point, we can really surrender. Surrender don't mean I shave my hair, I put tilak, and I make obeisance in front of Srila Prabhupada. It is not surrender. Surrender means to realize our activity is not independent. Depend of Maya or depend of God. It is never independent. The really independence we will get when we become completely dependent of the Lord. In this moment, yes. In this moment, we can say, I surrender. One time, many years ago, I hear one spiritual master. He say in one class, cultivate Krishna consciousness means cultivate one attitude. How do you say attitude in Hindi? Attitude. Bhav. Cultivate Krishna consciousness means cultivate one attitude. The attitude to accept and follow. And after he say, and that is very difficult. Accepted. Yes, sir, we read just today. Yes, sir. Accepted and follow. Because the movement of the Nama Sankirtan of Sri Sri Gaura Nitai is, even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu organized the Kirtan on the Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri, he organized different group, and different singer and different dancer, and in the movement of the Nama Sankirtan is like that. Even here is by department, by group, by department of BBT, department of kitchen, department of puchari, department of everything is by group. In every group there is one leader. And Krishna acts by his devotee. This is one reason for what is very important, the Sadhu Sangha. Because Krishna acts by his devotees. He don't come in person to ask you, go to clinic the temple. He don't come in person, Krishna, to ask you. But the responsible of one department, even he is one Bhakta Pepe without initiation, he come and told you, do that. So the mind say, who is him? I have to follow him, no? But in reality, the advanced devotee, when the leader of one department, he come and give one instruction, even if the leader is Bhakta Pepe, he understand Krishna want that. Krishna acts like his devotee. When we realize that, we really are ready to surrender. Yes, sir. It's not easy. 5:14, Bhagavad Gita.
So its translation is as follows. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature.
Yeah. And if you see in the chapter 14, text 18, where there Krishna speak about the can you read?
Those situated in the mode
Yes.
of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of
No. That way is no. I mistaken. Is no. Maybe I have it here. 18:14. Yeah, it's okay. 18:14. Chapter 18, text 14. It's okay.
the place of action, the
Yes.
body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action.
Yeah. And so the second is the performer. Okay?
Yes.
The place of action,
The performer,
the first. The performer is the two. But if you read the purport, Srila Prabhupada in the third line of 2 or 3 lines, Srila Prabhupada put that there is the explain of Srila Prabhupada, and the doer who act is made by God, being God. You see?
yes, the soul within
No, I ask you, you see? The doer is being God.
doer. Yeah, Prabhupada says the doer. The soul
Yeah,
is
but the doer is being God. Why? Why? Because it's passive, he don't do nothing. The doer do nothing. For that is being God. The soul is the battery of the car. If I take out the battery of the car cannot go anywhere. What I do now here, I am soul. You agreed? No? No agreed? What being the yes or not? You agree or not? Yes, yeah, okay. I am soul. I am soul. So what I do here now? What I do? Can you tell me? Eh? Nothing. I am witness. I am just witness of this situation. I am witness. And the body reading, speak, and laughing. But I am soul, I am no body. Everybody agreed, no? So the passive performer, because it's the battery of the car, is the impetus of the activity. This is one point very important to realize it. The soul is passive performer. Because other way is difficult. The ahankara, the false ego, have the rot, very deep rot. And it's difficult to understand everything. To realize, to understand, yes, it's like this. Jnana and Vijnana. Vijnana is more difficult. Because the Vijnana, the Paramatma give you the realization. The Vijnana give you is important to study. But if you deserve only 2% of knowledge, you can stay studying every day, 24 hours, and you will get no. Because this don't depend of you, that depend of the Lord. So when we realize this point, we understand we are in the hands of the Lord. And we have just to, yes sir, surrender. I think there is some question about this argument, no? There is some question about this argument? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your class. I have 2 questions, if I will remember.
Only one, please.
Okay, one question. So, we are talking that the soul is doing nothing.
Pardon?
Soul is doing nothing. Is not a doer.
Yeah, I will say Krishna say.
Yes, I am saying we are discussing. So, but the soul has a desire.
No, this is a mistake. The soul have capacity to desire, but is identified with the mind. And who desire is the mind.
So you want to say that
That
soul
change everything.
Soul is not
If
guilty.
you understand, pardon?
Soul is not guilty for any actions.
We reach just now, do nothing. It's the battery of the car. This is the car, yantra. This is the car. Why I would do like that? Because the battery is there. I am battery, I am not the body. This is the point. Srila Prabhupada say the soul have capacity to desire. But in the conditional state, who desire is the mind. And the mind is responsible of all body activities. The mind is responsible of all body activities. By fortune, the intelligence is more strong, is up, the intelligence. So we can use the intelligence. But who uses the intelligence is not the soul, it's the consciousness. And the consciousness is individual. What that means? The consciousness is individual. The consciousness can be material consciousness or spiritual consciousness. But the soul, no. The soul, even if it's covered by Maya, she is always spiritual. But if the consciousness is material, uses the intelligence for material business, enjoyment. If the consciousness is spiritual, uses the intelligence for spiritual progress. For this, Srila Prabhupada founded International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Because the consciousness is the really identity of everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thinking, feeling, and willing. Willing. In the English, say willing. In Latin language, the book of the Srila Prabhupada book, there is no willing, it's desire. Thinking, feeling, desire. In Italian, in Spanish, in Portuguese, and all language from Latin, don't say willing, say desire. Anyway, it's one synonym, willing or desire. But this is the mind, it's not the soul. The soul do nothing. Have perception. Yes. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for this wonderful lecture. As you, as we have read that the eternal occupation of soul is to serve the Lord, but in material world, soul does nothing. Only the body does. But in spiritual world, soul serve the Lord or the spiritual body serve the Lord. They both are same or they both are different. The spiritual body and the soul.
The spiritual world.
In the spiritual world, soul does or not?
Who act is the pure consciousness. When the mind become completely spiritualized, who act is the pure consciousness. When the mind is completely spiritualized, the subtle body disappears. You know? Have you read that? The subtle body disappears. That is the Yeah, 325:33. Jarayanti ajuyokojam nigirnam analo yataha. Can you read translation?
Bhakti, devotional service, dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as a fire in the stomach digests all that we eat.
The subtle body disappears. In this moment, who acts is the pure consciousness. In the spiritual world, is everything Satchitananda. So, near about 20 years ago, in Mayapur, the devotees discussed one argument. So, from where we follow. Someone say the Brahmayoti, everyone says something different, and the devotees look in the reading the book of the other Acharya to find what. But this is in Bhagavatam. We found there is from where we follow. Prabhupada explained, we follow from the spiritual world. So some devotees say, if in the spiritual world there is no gunas, there is no guna, there is no duality, there is no aversion. So how we can follow? But there is explained. For 28:53. 4:28:53. One day we got one idea there in Vaikuntha. We got one idea. We want to imitate Krishna. Or we want to become Krishna. And by this idea, we developed consciousness of duality. even if there is no duality, no aversion, we individual, we developed consciousness of duality. You can read there. And by this consciousness of duality, we had to serve Krishna. In this condition, you cannot stay there, even not here. Even not here. If one day you decide don't serve anymore, don't do anymore, Krishna will put there in some other activity, independent, we say independent. Serve Maya Devi. You don't want to serve Bhakti Devi, okay, serve Maya Devi. Can you read?
Srimad Bhagavatam 4.28.53. The Brahmana continued, "My dear friend, even though you cannot immediately recognize me, can't you remember that in the past you had a very intimate friend? Unfortunately, you gave up my company and accepted a position as enjoyer of this material world."
Purport?
Purport, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.27, Ichha dvaisa samuthena dvandamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge
It's
yanti
too long, no?
parantapa.
The purport is too long.
Yeah, it's quite long, Maharaj.
You can read where will say when Prabhupada explained, we developed consciousness of duality. And by this consciousness, we had to serve Krishna.
Okay, yes.
Read this part because it's too long. It's too since 9:20.
This is the explanation of how the living entity fall down into
Yeah.
this material world. In the spiritual world, there is no duality, nor is there hate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands Himself into many. In order to enjoy bliss more and more, the Supreme Lord expands Himself in different categories. As mentioned in Baraha Puran, He expands Himself in Vishnu Tattva and in His marginal potency, the Vivinnamsa or the living entity. These expanded living entities are innumerable, just as the minute molecule of sunshine are innumerable expansion of the sun. The Vivinnamsa expansion, the marginal potency of the Lord, are the living entities. When the living entity desire to enjoy themselves, they develop a consciousness of duality and come to hate the service of the Lord. In this way, the living entities fall into the material world.
Yeah, this is what Prabhupada explained. So, if someone has difficulty to understand what Krishna says, the soul do nothing. We read today 4 or 5 slokas where Krishna say, or Prabhupada, the soul do nothing. If you want to understand, you must, the first thing, accept what Krishna say. Krishna say, the soul do nothing. If you accept that, you can get, if he won, if the Paramatma won, you can get the realization. Other way, if your mind look for other way, because you don't accept it, I am soul, in reality the soul do nothing. If you don't accept it, you never will understand. Never. The Paramatma never will give you the... Krishna says the soul do nothing. And we read just now 4 or 5 slokas where Krishna says the soul do nothing. We have to accept that. And like that we realize how great is the mercy of the Lord. And we can be ready to surrender. Maybe it's no argument for Bhakta program, but one day or other we must to understand. I am soul. Because we say for everybody, I am soul, but maybe we have not realized that. I am soul, but I construed, I make one brindanga with my hands. How is that? And there is other argument also. We use it person with person, we use it dialogue who everybody agreed to speak about what my eyes see, but the eyes don't see the essence. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavani Ti Sabdyate. This is the sense. The eyes don't see the soul. So to see what the soul do, we can see with the eyes Shastra Chaksu. With the eyes of the Shastra you can see. It's the only way. So Krishna say, the soul do nothing, it's like that. I cannot take out this page because you don't understand. One last question. For Mataji, maybe it's more easy to surrender because the Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mahārāja.
Just a moment, I explain something. For Mataji, maybe it's more easy to surrender, maybe. Because the Mataji follow, serve the husband. That is 9:6:55. 9:6:55. The service of the Mataji is to serve the husband. And the Bhagavatam explains she must to serve the husband like if he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam explained that. That means she must to serve very, very seriously the husband. This is the, can you read? Excuse me.
O Maharaj Parikshit, by observing their husband progressing in spiritual existence, Saubari Muni's wives were also able to enter the spiritual world by his spiritual power. Just as a flame of fire ceases when the fire is extinguished.
Purport.
As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.32, Istriyo Vaishya Tatha Sudras Te Api Yanti Param Gatim. Women are not considered very powerful in following spiritual principle. But if a woman is fortunate enough to get a suitable husband who is spiritually advanced, and if she always engages in his service, she also gets the same benefit as her husband. Here it is clearly said that the wives of Saubari Muni also entered the spiritual world by the influence of their husband. They also entered the spiritual world with him. Thus a woman should be a faithful servant of her husband.
Yeah. It's more easy. Okay, question? Mataji want to ask one question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, Dandavat Pranam. Please explain two regions of fall down of souls from Golok Dham. Two regions of fall down of soul from Golok Dham. Two regions of fall down of soul, conditioned soul from.
We read just now.
One region may Maharaj ji, you explain one region or second region.
To
When
reason? Who say to reason? No, we want to imitate Krishna. Or we want to become Krishna, it's the same. It's one.
Krishna comes.
Even if it's two, it's the same. Yes.
One reason was we fall down when we want to independent from God, super God. Second reason, when Krishna comes.
क्या बोलता?
प्रभु जी मैं पूछ रही थी कि कृष्णा कैसे आते हैं, अपनी मर्जी से भी आते हैं, तो वो जैसे हम भी कृष्णा से अलग होने के लिए मर्जी करते हैं तो फिर हम आ जाते हैं, इंडिपेंडेंस होकर अलग रहने के लिए भी कृष्णा भेज देते हैं हमको इधर। प्रभु जी महाराज नहीं समझते ना?
Conventional dialogue. Conventional dialogue means everyone agreed to speak according what our eyes see. And we must to use this. Other way, the spiritual master told me, do that service, and I cannot say for him, I am soul, I do nothing. So everybody agreed, that is conventional dialogue. Everybody agreed to speak according what our eyes see. This devotee do one very nice service or do one mistake, but we decide that by what the eyes see. And we forget that the soul do nothing. What you say, Mataji?
I think she understood, Maharaj. I think she understood.
I understood, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Sri Kapila Devi ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. His Holiness Rupa Raghunatha Swami Maharaj ki. So we are so grateful to Maharaj that such a intricated subject matter, such a difficult subject matter को इतने सुंदर ढंग से by references he explained. That was amazing. So let's express our gratitude to Maharaj by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Holiness Rupa Raghunatha Swami Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishna Prasadam ki.